We are with George Morales here at First Class Tattoo in Long Branch, New Jersey. George, thanks for taking the time to do this today, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So, George, you've been tattooing for 35 years. What still gets you excited about tattooing?
The ability to be able to do something different, something new, you know. Hopefully you run into people with more creative ideas than yourself and you're able to do stuff, not something that you thought of, but something else that somebody else thought of, and make that a reality. It's challenging and it keeps me interested in the field, you know.
So where did you start?
I started at Jeans Tattoos in Asbury Park. I was there for about 3 years before I started working in other shops, and it was quite the experience. It was wild over there.
Yeah.
It was one of the I guess the crazy times start off right at the beginning, because you're getting used to a whole new adventure. You know, you're meeting new people. You're seeing the way a lot of different people, you know, interact with each other that you're not used to on a regular basis. Like, it was one of the things that kind of attracted me to it, because I felt like there was just a way about dealing with different types of people that you have to be there to understand how to be able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you meet all different types of people. Some totally bizarre, some normal. You know, it's just like the levels of people that you deal with on a daily basis is crazy.
So your apprenticeship was about 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years there. And then I worked in other shops. I worked in Tom's River. I worked in Howell for like a 2-day thing. It was crazy. And then I opened up my own shop, and I've been here for 24 years now.
Same place?
Yeah, same place.
Okay.
Yeah. I opened up here in 2000.
35 years on your belt. What do you feel like has changed the most about the industry?
I feel like all the laptop kids, you know, you got a lot more kids that have art backgrounds, that went to school for art. They're probably in the transition of being like a school kid now wants to become a tattoo artist. You know what I mean? It's not the same. More so technology too, you know. You didn't have a lot of the stuff that you do now. Like, we used to make our own stencils. We used to make our own inks, make our own needles. We worked on our own machines. We didn't like really have places that you can buy like in bulk everything that you needed. We, you know, mixed our own inks. It was like everything was done by hand. There's not a lot of call for that now, because everything is ready, available. You can order it. It can come to your house in a day. So, you know, I would say that's one of the biggest changes in the industry, other than just style-wise, you know. Like, I feel like the trends are a lot different now. People, like, they follow a crowd. Like, every year there's like a new tattoo style that people are getting, and it follows all through the year or the next year, and then it switches up to something else, you know. The industry is always going to change. It's always going to be different. They're always going to try to make, you know, more improvements to what was already, you know, doable. Everybody is like now counting on all these extra things to be able to do something, when before it was like, it was very primitive. It was more like there was more of a challenge to it in every way than now. You know, now everything is like ready, accessible. You can get it wherever you want, you know. So
at this point, do you feel like there is a divide between the old school artists and the new people that are coming in?
I feel there is. I feel like the newer artists don't really appreciate that part of the history of tattooing, because they're on a new wave. They're trying to be the new innovators of something that's already been done, you know? And, you know, they have to understand that they would never be the first ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, even I can't even say I was the first ones, because there was guys before me. I mean, but now there weren't as many as when I was coming up, you know, compared to when I was coming up. You knew about 3 other guys who were tattooing. Now there's like
hundreds,
like all over, everywhere, you know.
It's
pretty crazy
I think that,
to think of.
so I had a conversation with Shane Enholm. He was talking about the fact that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when they had the first conventions, there was lucky to be maybe 850 tattoo artists in the country. Now, there might be 850 in a state, a small state,
Yeah.
or more. There's this kind of thing going on with the oversaturation. Do you feel like that's the case?
Totally. My first convention I went to was in New York City, the first convention they had. And I remember kind of being like overwhelmed when I went. There was a lot of artists there, like, you know, Jack Rudy was there, Eddie Deutsch was there, the guys from Japan were there, just like everywhere. Like everybody from the New York scene was there, you know, like all the graffiti
All heavy
artists.
hitters.
Yeah, a lot of like there were a lot of guys there from all over the city. And I didn't realize how many there were because, you know, it just got legal pretty much around then too. You know, it's like, you know, and it was crazy because I used to always go up there to get my supplies because, you know, it wasn't like over here. Like over there, they had supply places, but they were all illegal. You had to go like in some building somewhere in a certain floor, and you'd walk in, everything looked kind of shady, but it was actually legit. Like,
secret handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once they got legal and were open to like everyone, it was so crazy. Like I felt like that was one of the big things that like now everybody is gonna learn how to tattoo, you know? And that was the first one that really had me like, wow, this is gonna be a big thing. And then I ended up going to a Philly tattoo convention where it was 4 times the size of that. You know, over 400 artists. Like who would even like imagine that it would get to that extreme? I did a show in Vegas, the Mario Barth Starlight Tattoo Show, the first one they had, and that was the largest one I have ever seen so far. Like I don't know how big they get, but that one was crazy.
Okay.
They had all the hand style tattooing from all over the world. They had the Japanese there, they had the Samoans there, they had everywhere, all over. And I was just like blown away by how far along the business has come.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so enough of the politics and the unfun questions. Let's get into the good stuff. So what would you say is your style of tattoo?
My favorite style of tattooing, I have to say, is black and gray. I felt like the Chicano style way of tattooing, the black and gray, it just always struck, you know, style-wise and longevity-wise, I felt like it was one of the strongest points of tattooing that you can see that kind of still retained its original value from when you first did it.
Okay.
Like I feel like a lot of this saturated color and heavy shading stuff, like over a while, it didn't wear as well, you know, or it didn't look as good to me, you know.
Okay.
But I would say black and gray.
So you would say at this point, like Jack Rudy, Freddie the Gray, those guys?
Yeah, all
like,
those cats. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough to meet both those guys too. They were awesome. You know?
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, as far as machines, are you still coil? Or are you using?
I still use coil. I use a rotary here and there for outline sometimes.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm loyal to the coil. That's what they say.
Yeah. I just asked that because it seems like you know, I'm not running into a lot of the old school guys that are using the new machines.
Oh yeah. But you know what? I mean, it's a matter of choice. I mean, people are gonna use what they feel the most comfortable with. I mean, you know, I did try the coils. I do like them, but I guess maybe because I've been doing it so long with the machines, with the coils, I just feel more comfortable.
Right.
You know, like I appreciate the technology, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And that's what I hear the most, actually.
Yeah.
If that's, you know, it took me, you know, 20 or 30 years to learn how to use this machine, why would I switch?
Yeah,
And then
I respect it though. It's definitely like I've used it and I've seen the power of it and the soft lines and the brushes and all that. It's definitely you know, it belongs in the tattoo world for sure.
Had the pleasure of hanging out with Lyle Hardy over in London.
Cool.
And I was actually shocked that he was using like a Bishop rotary and iPad and all that. He said, "Look, man, I've been doing this a long time. I'm going to use whatever's going to make my life easier at this point."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if I don't have to, you know,
it's lighter, you know,
it's lighter,
less wear and tear on the hands.
I don't have to worry about the cord. He's like, you know, it just things to him made sense.
Yeah.
You gotta appreciate that, man. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude's a legend.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
A lot of guys switched over though. There's a lot of guys who switched over.
Okay. So George, you got a Instagram?
I do. It's 1ST class TAT number 2, and just request me, and when I get through there, I'll put you in there. But yeah, I try to stay half in, half out of there because there's just the whole world's weird.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't do TikTok. I don't do all the little Twitters and all that stuff. That's not for me. I'm not in my phone like that.
Right.
To get caught up in there. You know what I mean? It's like the rabbit hole. The minute you jump too far in your phone, you fall right in. And I'm trying to stay away from that.
So if somebody wanted to get some work done with you, what's the best?
They
way?
could always call the shop. We're in 189 Broadway, Long Branch, New Jersey. 07740 is our area code, and we're open 6 days a week from 12 to 10. I might change the hours at a certain point, but for right now, that's what we're doing it at. And you can just call the shop at 732-571-5161.
Now, you also do walk-ins as well, right?
We do walk-ins. We don't do piercing, but we do good tattoos, man. So if you're coming for a piercing, don't come.
So what would you say are some of your influences other than those two guys, like you were saying, Jack and Freddie, but like as far as your artistic style?
Wow, I would say it would have to be mainly because right in the beginning there was a show that I saw before I even thought about tattooing. It was called Signatures of the Soul, and it was an interview with Don Hardy, Bill Salmon, Jack Rudy was in there, and just seeing how much it evolved from the sailor tattoos made me more interested in being like, wow, that's something I like. I think that would be cool to do, like to actually bring a more modern art style to tattooing, and it really resonated, like a thinking in my mind of like, how do you do that? Like, how do you cross over from one style to the next? And then you can just go into doing all different styles. Like you're not dedicated to one, but you start dipping and dabbing in a lot of different styles in order to make your own style. And I felt that was the big attraction with tattooing.
So like looking around your shop, tell people about your other mediums that you're into.
Yeah, I mean, we paint here. I'm really big into doing bigger, like graffiti style pieces, but with different twists and stuff in it, different graffiti elements into it, trying to make up my own style in that medium, and it's kicking off pretty good. There's actually graffiti on the roof too, man. If you want
Is
to
there
catch
really?
that, yeah, man. I've been presented with joining one graffiti crew right now, which they're going worldwide. They're doing stuff all over. They're going to Paris. They're doing big shows in New York, and I mean, hopefully that kicks off. I really want that to kick off, but yeah, I'll dig deeper into that, down the road. I feel like I'm not ready to just jump all in that right now, but it's definitely a new door that opened up that's kind of got me back into that,
Good stuff, man. So, one more question before we wrap this up, man. If somebody were to come to you and say, hey, man, I want to get into the business. Any words of advice?
Honestly, I feel like it's so saturated right now. I mean, the amount of dedication that you have to put into learning how to be a tattoo artist is, it's hard. It's hard. It's very competitive out here. There's a lot of people out here right now. There's new ones coming up every day. I would say really think about it. Really think about what you're getting into. If anything, go to conventions, go to different shows and see what it's really about before you commit to something that, once you get in it, the best drug you ever had in your life. It's like that's all you want to do forever. And you can't back out. Like, it consumes your whole life. And, you have to think, like, if you have a family, if you have other things going on, a certain job that requires, like, all your attention, then it's probably not going to be for you, because once you're in, that's it.
All
You know,
consuming.
it's all consuming. It's the black hole.
So at this point, man, is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel like you want to bring up or I should have asked you?
I mean, what else can you say about the business? I mean, it's still going strong. It started way back, caveman days and stuff. We've been doing this stuff forever. You know, it's just different ways and mediums. You know what I mean? It's never going anywhere. It's always going to be here. There's always going to be someone new doing it. You know, I mean, if you love it, you love it, and if you don't, you don't. I mean, it's not for everybody, but for those that really truly enjoy it, it's one of the things that gets you away from your regular humdrum day. It gets you away from thinking of all the things that's going on in the world, and it gives you a time to reflect on yourself and just be you, and be able to express yourself and what you are. And I think that's the biggest thing about tattooing in general, is that you're not doing it for somebody else, you're doing it for yourself. You know, you're doing it to make you happy, to bring you joy. You know, that's what it's all about.
Right on, man. I appreciate your time today, dude.
Thank you.
It's been
I
awesome,
appreciate
man.
you
Cool
coming
shot,
in.
man.
And this is my first interview I've ever done, but I think I did kind of good.
You did awesome, dude. You did great.
If you like this video, click this link here.